What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today we're going to talk about Meliodas. And if you take a look at Meliodas' kit, he is a pretty damn solid character. I mean, this character has increased attack by 29% for 7 seconds. It's really kind of weird that they didn't give him an attack based off of defense, but he does have higher native defensive stats than a lot of other characters, so maybe that's the reason why. And he does have a stun an enemy for 2 seconds upon a successful attack. And then he has a 50% chance to ignore the target's guard upon landing a successful attack. Now, the bad thing about this skill is it doesn't include their guard. So if they guard against you when you do this skill, you're not going to get the stun off on them. You got to catch them when they're in a motion, when they're attacking you. You got to catch them, use the skill. Then you can do the stun, which is kind of a bummer. I really wish it would have included a guard. That would have been a little bit more OP, but it's still really good. And then on his second skill, he does have the darkness, and a lot of people thought, oh, darkness, oh, guild raid, get raid, which is what we're actually going to test. Deals darkness damage equal to 30% of attack every 1 second and decreases power by 2%. And decreased power is actually really good. And then he's got the PvP exclusive, the 40% chance to remove the target's super armor or hyper armor upon landing a skill on a target with super armor or hyper armor, which means if a character has super armor or hyper armor and they're attacking you and you hit them with this skill, you got a 40% chance of removing it, which is OP. Originally, this was 60%, so I was actually kind of bummed out that they nerfed Meliodas a little bit, but he's still a terrific character. And then the third skill gains hyper armor. So really nice that he has hyper armor in his kit. And something very unique to Meliodas is he does have darkness on his default, exactly like Delens. And we all know how powerful Delens is. And pretty much if you don't have Delens, you're probably struggling in guild raid. I mean, there are other characters you can use. You got Psyche and Lady Geese, but in all honesty, Delens just blows them away. And if you take a look at his core effects, he's got the 30% PG rate, which is amazing. That is actually fantastic for PvP and PvE because it's going to enable him to build up his 3 PG very, very fast, which you guys will see here in a little bit. And then he's got the attack, the HP increase, got the strike skill damage increase, the blast skill damage increase. And then he's got increased penetration by 300 for 5 seconds upon each attack that stacks up to 5, which means when it stacks up, he's going to have 1,500 extra penetration. And what that does is, say your character has 6,000 defense. You take 6,000 minus 1,500, that's 4,500 defense, is now what they have. And that's what he's doing. He's actually taking away their defenses, which is freaking amazing. And he's also immune to stun, which in today's meta is very, very powerful. And then increases active skill damage dealt to enemy in darkness by 35%. So as long as you apply darkness, you're going to deal even more damage. And then the PvP exclusive, 20% chance to reflect 15% of damage received upon receiving a blast active skill, which is pretty OP. It's kind of similar to full counter in the anime where someone hits him, he does a counter attack to them, and he applies 100% of the damage back at him. I mean, obviously they couldn't do that in this game. That would be way too OP, but having that 15% reflect is nice. I wish it was 100% reflect in all honesty. 15% of the damage, but maybe that would have been broken. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. 20% chance, maybe even better if it just been 50% chance. And I do have his cores completely unlocked. I am running this set. I'm running the Athena set on him because he is a defensive character. He will benefit from this set. The increased attack by 50% defense, 30% chance to deal additional damage equal to 180% of defenses upon laying an active skill, and then the decreased damage received by 60%. Is really awesome if your HP gets below 20%, which we won't. And then I have a PG card on him, which he probably doesn't even need in all honesty. And then I have this card on him that actually we got from the 7 Knights collab that actually increases your attack by 5%, decreases skill cooldown, and gives you an increased attack additional by 10% for 5 seconds, and grants super armor for 1.5 seconds when you're tagging in, which is very important, especially against guild raid, whenever you're tagging in, or even against a spider robot, to have that super armor so you don't get interrupted. They don't kick you while you're in the air, they don't shoot you while you're in the air, and you can just fall down and go into your rotation. And his infinity is unlocked at level 10. So if you take a look at this guy in the skill preview, you can cancel the skills super, super fast, which is pretty awesome. The second skill got to play out a little bit, but you can cancel them pretty fast. Now, what I want you to notice is the range on these skills. So I'm going to push old boy all the way to the end here. Give a little bit. Okay, we're going to back up. All right, now we're going to hit the third skill. Now he can actually dash forward and hit him. If he's within 4 or 5 character distances, this skill is actually going to be a lot better because it's going to be telegraphed if you're standing that far away. And in all honesty, whenever you're in PvP, you never really should be that far away when you're doing attacks most of the time. You see here, that was a little bit better, still a little bit telegraphed, and look at how fast he already built his 3PG up. Now, if we step all the way back and we hit the first skill, it won't quite hit. So you got to make sure you're within about 4 or 5 character distances, and the first skill will work. Boom. Nice, right? And again, that stun's only going to apply when they're attacking you. If they guard against that skill, you're not going to stun them. Now check this second skill out. This thing is amazing. And this is the one that applies darkness. Boom! Look at how fast that skill is. That is OP as hell. That is OP. And that's the skill that has a 40% chance to remove their buffs. So if you hit the hyper armor and then go straight into the second skill, you'll have hyper armor up and you can actually go into your second skill and do that attack. And then afterwards, you could do the stun, get the 2-second stun. And I know you're not using your attack buff first, but I mean, it really depends when you're playing in PvP as to which skill you should use first. Generally, you'd want to do the attack skill first and then go into your other skills. But you'll find a lot of times when you do that, if say you use his first skill first, then he'll get interrupted by the opponent's skills. And he's going to get knocked around and he's going to take a lot of damage. You take a look at his 3PG. Actually, before we do 3PG, look at his dodge. Now look at that dodge. Boom. Boom. It's a nice long dodge. He dodges really far away, which is really going to be good against certain 3PGs whenever they're doing their ultimate moves. He'll actually be able to get behind them when they're doing an ultimate move. It's pretty freaking cool, in all honesty, the way he dodges very fast. And then the 3PG. And keep in mind, this skill doesn't apply darkness. It's just a nice long animation, which is going to be really good for multiple game modes in this game, including Immortal Dungeon. Probably even good for Spider Robot. He might be a defensive character, but he does have respectful damage, pretty good damage. And then if we do these skills again, we got the 3PG ready. Or not the 3PG, but the default. This is the skill that applies to darkness. Now, the thing to keep in mind is, he's got to get that last strike in to apply the darkness. If he doesn't, say you're in Guild Raid and you're trying to apply that darkness and Rugal dashes forward, a lot of times he'll miss. So you want to make sure you, afterwards, you hit your second skill to apply the darkness before you switch to your next character. Meliodas is actually a very strong character. I'm actually really impressed with him, especially with the testing that I've done so far. I took him in Guild Raid and I actually did a run with him. And I was able to hit 409 million with a 1-star Meliodas on the team. And I had 1 imprint stone on that guy. I mean, I was using Rugal and I am using Mai. Both of those characters are really amazing for this because neither one of their 3PGs will get interrupted by a Guild Raid's Rugal explosion, which is massive. And I am using Elizabeth here for a striker because they have a nice link effect where you obtain 15% power at the start of the stage and obtain 12% power when using an ultimate move. Increases ultimate move damage by 5%. That's really, really strong. And then decrease the active team member's damage by 10% for 4 seconds when you bring her in. So you actually can decrease damage received as well. And if you use Bond, then you could decrease your skill cooldowns by 1%. You could have this increased attack by 10%. You could decrease damage received by 4%. Actually, that's really good too. Really, that might have been better than Elizabeth in all honesty. But I went ahead and used Elizabeth. And we talked about Rugal and Omega and Mai and Neskio. Just real quickly, just to show you guys the builds. Max Imprint Stones, Akane, Rugal option card. And then for Mai, Akane, Rugal option card, and Mai's option card. And this is pretty insane on this character because you're adding an insane amount of damage. Mai actually has a lot of strike skills to apply all that extra damage. And I did try this with Merlin, by the way, and I actually could do pretty good, but definitely I could do a lot better with mine. That's because mine's just stronger in all honesty, and she's just built better. I have all three of her stones leveled up, whereas for Merlin, I don't. But I mean, if you've all seen some of the videos out there, I mean, there's a video of Merlin being on the team with Athena and Mai in Lunatic, hitting over 800 million in Guild Raid with one key. That is massive, my friends. So you can see that I've already done this run. So let's jump into the action and let's rock and roll. So this is the method that I'm using so far. I mean, I might change this up over time, but usually I just start with Rugal and I just run through his skill, switch to Meliodas, use his third skill first to apply that hyper armor. We got the default ready, use the default to apply the darkness, switch to Mai, and start running through my skills. And Mai just breaks that meter so fast. And now we're going to use her 3PG. We still got a lot of the meter left. And we're going to hopefully switch to Rugal and do his skills and get his 3PG off. And I really try to get the explosion to land on Rugal. And then I bring in Omega to decrease the enemy's attack and get a heal as well. And then now Rugal's going to do his explosion on us. Well, not quite, not quite. We're going to wait for him a little bit. There we go. Now he did his explosion. And then switch to Meliodas. Now, I didn't have a whole lot of time to practice this. This was just maybe 2 or 3 tries. So I really think I could actually perfect this and do a lot better. Go, go, go. And now we're just going to spam my skills. And another beautiful thing, by the way, about the SS and BS characters is you do have 13 seconds on their awakened skill versus 10 seconds on all the other characters. You can spam the SS and BS characters for 13 seconds versus 10 seconds on any other character. But really all we need Meliodas for in this run is just to apply the darkness. That's really all we need. And it does kind of suck that he doesn't have a decrease damage received. I wish he did. Because it would make him even better for this. But you really don't need it, in all honesty. If you had a healing striker, or if you had Joe that decreased the damage received by 60% and gives a heal, that would actually work as well. And you can see the method that I'm doing. Pretty much when that meter finishes, or when we break the meter, I just spam BS Rugal or SS Mai's skills. And then when the meter gets down to the bottom, I go ahead and use their 3PG. And then I switch back to Meliodas, apply some darkness, use his default, apply a little bit more darkness. Then we're going to switch to Mai and get it to it. And it works out pretty well because by the time that we go back and forth between Mai and Rugal, their awakened skills are ready because we keep using the 3PG from Mai, from Rugal, and from Meliodas, and all those PGs are stalling that timer. And I was actually really impressed with this run. Honestly, 409 million, not too shabby in one key with a 3-star Mai. I mean, I do have a level 50 Rugal, but a 1-star Meliodas, and I do have 1 stone on Meliodas, just the first stone. I mean, it's not like he's built super well. I mean, if he was 5-star, if he was maxed out, you would do so much better, my friends. You'd do so much better because you would do a lot more damage whenever you bring in Meliodas, and then whenever you bring in your other characters, whoever they may be, you won't have to do as much damage before you start using your awakened skills. Which means you're going to do a lot more damage while Rugal's meter is broken. I mean, freaking amazing, right? I actually kept thinking for some stupid reason when I was doing this run that Meliodas' darkness was on his first skill because I'm so used to playing Delans. I actually forgot all about it when I was playing this run, which is pretty funny. I think I'd actually got a better score if I would have remembered that Meliodas' darkness actually comes on his second skill. Because then I would just hit his Hyper Armor, second skill, and switch to the next character. Boom! And look at that, 409 million. So for those of you that don't have Delans, which a lot of you don't have him, Meliodas is actually freaking amazing for this. He is going to put in some serious work for you in Guild Raid. And even if you're using a different leadership like Orochi Iori, and it's not applying to Meliodas, it doesn't matter. He's still going to apply that darkness, and if you're using Guinness, then you're still going to do really, really great damage. If you all would like to see that, I would be happy to show that, or any other kind of run. Just let me know down in the comments below. But All in all, I'm very happy with Meliodas. I think he's a terrific character. He's going to be really, I think he's going to shine a little bit more in PvP. But as you saw, he's still extremely relevant for PvE because guild raid rewards players better than any other game mode. So let me know how y'all feeling about Meliodas, and I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT plus 7 times, Sunday through Thursday. The link will be in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.